Saidi, Hajjala, farmer dance, awalim, gawazi, a lot of types, many different types of dances. All of us we love very much. And in the end, we can see exactly the flower, the best flower, the rose of dance. Belly dancing or Oriental dance. Oriental dancing. We love both of them. But the question is how we can feel them right well, how we can go to the top level of them. In this video, I will explain you much more. So come with me and we go together and see exactly how we can reach the highest level of each one of them or all of them. Every one of us, when we go create our new choreography, of course, we know exactly that, or let me say, we choose already the type of dance we're going to create its choreography, like that. So, either we have the music and song, then we go create our choreography, or we search for the music or search for the music and song, and we start to create our choreography. Some of us sometimes they create the idea first. This is very important, by the way. We create the idea first, or they create the idea first, and through the idea they go create their choreography. How it comes like that, and how we can choose the correct music and song. Of course, I had already a video, I did it for this, and you can go back to this video and know exactly how we can choose or find the correct music for it. But now, how we can create our choreography by this way, what I told you about. It is very easy. We go, have the music, listen to the music, and I start to move on it. Something like that. Very easy like that. And sometimes I have some steps, I love it very much, or I love them very much. So some of us, as I told you, some of us do something like this. I have some videos, I saw or I watched it, suddenly I found some steps, I love them very much, I collected them in my mind, then I go looking for a music and I go play this or move with these steps on this type of music, something like that too. A lot of ways we use to create our choreographies. Is it right? Is it okay, perfect? Can help us to finish our perfect choreography or the choreography in our minds? Here we have to look in each point actually to understand if all these ways are correct or not. I believe 100% that dancing is something very special and something we feel very much. So for this reason, our brain, when we hear music, any music, and we start to act with this music, suddenly I found that we stand up and start dancing or start move on this music. Look, I'm now talking with you, my hands move with my words, move with my mind, my way of talking. This is exactly the first step or the first base for the music or for the choreography when I go create my choreography. The way any one of us create his or her choreography, it is like that. My brain read the music in the beginning and start to act with the music. Then my brain understand the music, then give the order for the muscles of my body to move on this music. How it comes like that? I have to understand it right well. If you understand all these steps, suddenly you will find that you will do the correct steps. In the beginning, the brain can understand the music. How it comes? By we ourself or our brain, as I said, can understand which type of music it is. From this way, the brain will give the order. So, If it is, for example, Hajjala dance, how the brain can understand Hajjala dance, or it is Saidi dance, or whatever, any type of different types of dances. We have many different types of dances. The brain understand in the beginning this type of dance or this type of music, let me say this type of music, and through this type of music, the brain translate which type of movements the body must move. Then give the order to the body and the body will move. It is like that. It's very easy like that. But how? You have to know that the brain looks like shelves. Each shelf has its own type of music and of course has its own type of dance. So every shelf has many different types of movements which belongs to a type of dance, and the second shelf have another type of movements, and the third, and so on and so on, which it looks like the first shelf. For example, the first shelf belongs to Saidi dance, the second shelf farmer dance, the third shelf Gawazi dance, and so on and so on and so on. So this is our mind like that. Then when we go create the choreography, all shelves now are away and just only the shelf which belongs to this type of dance is in the front of me. So I have to choose, or I will choose the correct step which I will use it with this type of music, or I have it already, and this type of music belongs to this type of shelf or belongs to this type of dance. This is the way or the correct way I have to do when I go create my choreography. But this, what I explained to you now, this type or this method, it is exactly for a folk dancing. Folk dancing. What about the Oriental dance? Which is a little bit complicated because the Oriental dance is the highest level of all of these type of dances. As I told you before, the Oriental dance or belly dancing, they absorbing their steps from the folk dancing. So I have to understand the folk dancing right well. Then from the folk dancing, I can be a very good Oriental dancer or belly dancer. So now, what about the Oriental dancing? The music of Oriental dancing or belly dancing can have many different types of music. Parts of music belongs to the folk dancing. So if I don't understand the meaning or how I move through the folk dancing, sometimes I lose my way in the Oriental dancing or belly dancing. So this is very important. You have to keep in mind that you have to understand right well most of the folk dancing, which will help you a lot when you go create your choreography in Oriental dancing or belly dancing. So from this point exactly, if I have now an Oriental dance music, whatever it is, suddenly I found that the first step, or let me say the first part, can be the first part. It is looks like Saidi. The second part, the second part, it is Hajjala. The third part can be Gawazi. Then come back again to Hajjala or come back again to Saidi or whatever. Sometimes the fourth part is Awalim. Then I go back again to whatever, any type of dancing. Looks like that. How can I move or how can I create my choreography on something like this type of music? I mean, many different types inside. Immediately, I go look to the shelf of Saidi dance, as I told you. Then I will choose the correct step. Then after that, I will change this step for the second part. When it is Gawazi dance, for example, so I will change the step to be a Gawazi, then I will change the step once more again if it is Hajjala, and so on and so on. So the shelf is now one by one can open in front of me, and I choose which type or which correct step, then I use them together, or I gathering them through my choreography. This is the right way, this is the correct way when you go create your choreography in Oriental dancing, because I saw several dancers, they choose strange steps, not dancing steps. And sometimes I found that or I find that some dancers, they choosing the sport steps. So either when a strange step not belongs to its type or this type of music, or when it is a sport step, it will be something completely different than dancing. This is the main point what I'm looking for. So I have to understand them right well. I mean the shelves which I told you about, or this type or this way of different types of folk dancing, then I can use them through my choreography in Oriental dancing or belly dancing. This is the first point. The second point is I have to understand correctly or correct or perfect. I have to understand the music perfect. There are already a video I already created for you to understand the music and how you can know exactly which type of music is correct or not, or something like that, and the maqams and everything about the music. You can go back again and watch this video. So this is very important, yes, also to understand how you can use the music. So now I have to understand the music right well. Through this way, I can move on to the music. Also, the lyrics. Lyrics are very important. Why? Because we're using them through our dancing. Yes, also in Egypt, or let me say in the Arab countries, we create lyrics first, then we go create the music onto the lyrics, which vice versa. It's vice versa actually in Europe. In Europe, they create the music first, then they create the lyrics onto the music. So here is a difference between both. So for this reason, I will give you a secret now. The music have its own type of tone and of course melody. It is exactly the same with the lyrics too. The Arabian lyrics, the poem, have its own also type of tone and melody. So from this way, you have to understand which the different types of the tone of the music and the tone of the lyrics. Then you can use them through your dancing. This point, we call it the way of feeling the music and songs together. Of course, all of you, you know this, but the main point of view is we use them through our gestures and postures, because if I move only through the music, I will lose the second tone or the second melody. So I have to understand the music and I have to understand the lyrics to move through them. This is the correct way, and this is the highest way, not the highest way in the street, the level. When you go through, or when you touch this level, you will be much more perfect. So the gestures and postures are very important through our dancing, and we have to understand them right well. I created a lot of lectures about them, also classes about them, and I created a lot and I explained a lot about them through the theoretically or practically way. But anyway, maybe one day I will create another lecture or another class, then I will tell you all about it. Maybe if you lost something from the past of the other lectures or the classes, you can be with me once more again and we can do it together. I explain to you much more once more again. Anyway, let me know exactly, do you understand actually, or let me ask you, do you understand actually the way to use the gestures and postures through dancing? Write me down please, and tell me your opinion about, because this is very important in dance. And of course I know exactly all of us, we are looking to be the perfect dancers. So for this reason we have to know exactly, if we know every type of dance and every way methods we're using in dancing, which can help us actually to create the correct choreography. So please write me down your opinion about the gestures and postures, if you know it, or if you know them or not, and of course how you can use them through your choreography, or when you're going to create your choreography. Then we reach something very important, which it means how we can collect all of these type of steps together to make this sentence, which we, as I explained you, yes, also the name of it by academical way, but I'm not talking about the academical way actually as much as I'm talking about tips and tricks in creating the choreography. So when we go create our sentences, dance sentences, or let me say the movements, the correct movements, how I can collect all of these type of movements together in one sentence, and then how can I connect the first sentence with the second sentence and the third and fourth until I finish my choreography. There are a little bit point here in the beginning, or let me say between the two sentences, the kinematic joints. We call them the kinematic joints. These kinematic joints we have to understand, yes, actually, right well. Sometimes I saw some societies, I will not mention them, when they go dancing, suddenly I found when they finish the first sentence, they stop, then start the second sentence, and so on, something like that. So there is stop between the sentences. It was like that. I'm so happy that many of them, they changed this way now, and they start to understand how they move through the sentences through their choreography. This is the main point what I'm talking about. In the middle, or in between, let me say in between of each sentences, there are something we call it kinematic joints. The kinematic joints, it looks like a step, a different step, we jump on it to move or to jump again to the second sentence, and so on and so on. This is very important, yes, also, and we have to understand these kinematic joints. We have to understand how I can use them, how they can go faster or slower or something like that. Of course, it takes the kinematic joints taking their steps or taking their way by both the first and the second, or the two, let me say the two sentences, dance sentences. So this is very important to have to keep in mind when you go create also your choreography. In Egypt we say that something I hope you like it anyway. Go or start very strong, in the middle do whatever you like to do, but in the end you have to finish very strong. So this way, if we translate it through our choreography, we will find exactly it is very important for us. When you enter the stage, you have to enter the stage very strong. Then the audience will love you very much. Wow, like that. It is like that. And in the middle, do whatever you like to do, but inside the meaning you are doing, I mean inside the type of dance you are acting or performing, then in the end you have to finish your choreography, but very strong. It is like that. Suddenly you will find the audience will be with you, and they will clap and say, wow, bravo, or whatever. Wow, very bad, like that. For me, like that. So this is very important point. Yes, also you have to keep in mind. Sometimes I see dancers, they enter the stage with a very slow way. Looks like slow motion. I don't know why. Maybe they don't want to wake up the audience or something. I don't know, but I'm joking, of course. Please don't don't enter the stage with a very slow motion until you stand up in your area or your place. Sometimes you can use something like that, but you have to employ it inside or employ it this way inside your choreography if your choreography needs something like that. So it is okay, no problem. But not in the beginning. In the beginning, when you go into the stage in a slow motion, as I told you, you don't want to wake up the audience. Of course, the audience, 99% of them, they will laugh onto you. So please take care. You are stronger than the audience. For this reason, the audience come and watch you. Why stronger? Because you will do something the audience cannot do it in an easy way, as easy as you do on the stage. This is very important. Other side, the audience come watching you because they know exactly you are perfect, or you will give them something perfect. People love very much the perfect way of movements. So for this reason, they are using this way through their life. If they hear that someone else do something with the music, running quickly to him or to her and watching him, watching her. It is like that. This is the way of people all over the world when they think about dancing. So for this reason, you are the perfect dancers, and you are number one on the stage. So what do you mean when you go into the stage? Slow motion like that. So you have to be strong when you enter the stage. Then do your choreography in the right way, the correct way. As I told you, how you can choose the steps and how you can collect these steps and put them together in the correct part of the music, each part of the music, as I told you before. Then in the end, you have to finish your choreography very strong. It is like that. This is the perfect way. Still one point very important I didn't tell you about until now. 90% of all our dances in Egypt, for example, when we create these type of dances on the stage, I mean theatrical folk dances or Oriental dances or also belly dancing, it is a type of a story. Now something very strange, right? This is the secret of how you can create the correct choreography and the correct choreography, the strong choreography, and a secret of all of our type of dances in Egypt. 99% of our dances, folk dances in Egypt and theatrical folk dances in Egypt, it is a type of a story. The story is very important. Keep in mind that every one of us love very much to hear a story. And sometimes I love horror story, other one he love the love story, the second one, the third one love the drama story, something like that. This is exactly the way of our dancing in Egypt. I mean, folk dancing and theatrical folk dancing. Of course, all over the world you will find the same, but sometimes you find some dancers, they haven't a story. Here is the main point. 99% of sport steps or the games or something like that, there is no story except winner or loser, which all of us we know. But sometimes can have some steps have meaning, belongs to a story or belongs to something like that. It is like that. In dancing, no, you have to have a story. If your dance or if your choreography haven't a story, people will lose. I mean, you will lose the people and people will lose you too. The audience will lose you and you will lose the audience. So this is very important. Keep in mind that you have to understand the story you will do. How I have a story for my choreography? By studying the culture of these people who I will perform their dance. I'm not pushing you once more again and again. I don't push you to study the culture and everything around the culture and all these complicated things, same as we studied in the academy, or as an anthropologist who has to study all these points of cultures. No, try to understand the life, the surface of the surface, yes, of life of these people, how they move, how they talk, how they use their hands, how they use their eyes, their way of talking, their all these points. If you catch all these points, then you will create the correct choreography, I mean the correct movements. And then you have to understand their life to choose a special story, or to create a story from your mind. Why not? If you understand the culture of these people, then you can create a story for them, and then you go create your choreography on this story. It is like that. So why not? This is another point I love to share with you. If you see most of Mahmoud Rida choreographies, it is stories. Also in Qawmiya troupe, it is stories. Also in all troops, dance groups in Egypt, you will find a story inside their dance. But sometimes people think that the story must be complicated and I have to do this drama or this type of movements or this way of... No. As much as the story very easy for people who understand it fast, as much as you will win when you create your choreography on it. But when the story is complicated, suddenly you will find people will lose you on the stage, or the connection, the communication between both of you will cut. So try to use the very easy story which people can understand fast, then you will find yourself perfect, creating a perfect choreography. So now I will tell you once more again all these points. The first point is you have to know exactly which type of dance you want to create your choreography. So your mind now know exactly this type of dance. Either you have the music or you go choose the music, which is very easy yes also. So try to choose the correct music for the dance you wanted to create the choreography. Then you have to understand the music, the parts of the music right well, and the lyrics too. Through the music and the lyrics, you will understand how you will move and how you can do your gestures and postures, which they are very important for you. Your mind, as I told you, looks like shelves. Each shelf has its own type of dance. Then you will choose the correct steps which belongs to this part of music or this part of lyrics, then you will go choose them. Of course, you have to understand how you can manage the sentences together, I mean the dance sentences together. Then you have to choose the correct kinematic joint to connect each sentence with the other, the second with the third, or the first with the second, then second with the third, and so on, until you finished your choreography. When you go into the stage, please, again, once more again, don't move slow motion, very slow like that, because if you go fast, you will wake up the audience. So please, please, don't do something like this. Go with a strong way, or start your choreography with a strong way. In the middle, you will do whatever you want, as much as the story, or the way, the meaning of the dance or the type of dance you are doing. Then in the end, do it strong in the end or finish it strong in the end. It is like that. This is wonderful and this is the best way. Then keep in mind that you have to, if you want to be a winner all the time, try to create a story or find a story belongs to this type of dance. Then create steps on this story. This is will be wonderful and will make you all the time winner if you do something like this. So this is the video I love to share with you, and all these points, yes, also, and I love very much to hear your opinion about them. And if you have another points, please write it down to me. We can discuss together, and we share our knowledge together. Of course, I will be waiting for your opinion, and your comments are very important, yes, also for me. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.